Did we just see everything we just saw? Wow!
I don't think it turns down, so I specifically didn't start on the stream. Maybe you guys heard that, maybe you didn't. Welcome back. It's the 4th and 1 podcast. My name is AKA Simeon Schlicker, alongside always the man, the myth himself, Captain Boring, and live from Timbuktu, we got CFB3. Excited to be here, boys. We're playing around with our recording software. I'm happy to be here. We're coming to you live from Lancaster, Lidditz, and Williamsburg, Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's right. Middle of nowhere.
That's not right.
It's Williamstown?
Town.
Yeah, there is a Williamsburg too. What's up, Micaiah? What's going on?
Oh, well, first of all, you always raise your hand and interrupt my intro, so I just figured I would do it to you. But
That's
I do
great.
have a question.
That's a great bit.
Thank you. Do you have your Xbox yet?
I don't. And I'm glad you brought that up. It is coming tomorrow. It left New York. For some reason, it's coming from Brooklyn, New York, because that seems like a logical place to ship an Xbox from. And I'm glad you mentioned that. So, exciting news, and kind of, I meant to do some more googly goos, but we are in. All three of us are in a college football 25 dynasty. We're all very excited. Makai and Robert obviously have been playing the game for what, about week and a half, 2 weeks now?
Week and a half.
Yeah.
Week and a half. They're all hyped. I had the wrong Xbox. It took a while. Paycheck had to hit. The whole 9 yards. And Sunday, I went, and this is what I want your guys' reaction on. Sunday, I went to buy a used Xbox Series X, which is the all-digital one. The one GameStop I went to, they were closed or on break, and I didn't feel like waiting. Went to my second GameStop, and I was told by the dude working there that they are fresh out of Xboxes. Brand new, and they had one used Series S, and no other place around had in-stock Xboxes, which I assume that meant like York, the other Lancaster store, Lebanon, possibly the Harrisburg store. So their only thought is that they do not have enough stock because of college football 25. That's how many people are playing this game. Does anybody know, has this broken sales records yet or whatever?
Why didn't you buy the used one, though?
Why would you buy a used one?
Because I didn't want to spend an extra $130.
The sales record, I did the math. It sold 2.2 million copies, sold at $100 a piece to get it 3 days early, right? So we got it Monday the 16th at 4 p.m. and it sold 2.2 million copies. So if you do quick math, that's $220 million. In terms of breaking sales record, I don't know. Like, I don't know enough about video games, Robert. That's more your territory.
Yeah.
What would I don't know the highest selling video games of all time.
I mean, it's up there. I don't think this is it, but
Well, so the hard thing is it's not necessarily like video game sales. It's not so much about the money anymore, just about the number of copies that have been sold or downloaded. So it's not even close, really. Like Grand Theft Auto's had over 200 million like copies sold. Minecraft's had 300 million sold. College football had 2.2 million. So it's like the dollar amount probably would be really high up there, but it's just more or less off of like actual product sale.
I'm eating. Sorry, guys. I'm hungry. I'm going to talk with food in your mouth. I'm sorry for the podcast listeners. This has to be one of the biggest games that EA has had in a while, though. That's what only makes sense to me. Like, yeah, Madden sells good every year that they release it, but like this has to be one Like, this is like a hit single for them. And EA hasn't had a hit single. EA Sports specifically hasn't had a hit single in a while. So that's what they're selling out consoles. That's how popular this game is. That's what blows my mind. Is that just me? No? I'm the only one fascinated by this?
No, I'm looking at sales here. Okay. But yeah, no, I mean it is a big deal that Xbox is definitely sold out because it's actually really good news for Xbox because they've just been getting destroyed in console wars for the past like however many years by PlayStation. And it's just one of the like that's also like just really good for college football because that means the hype was there, the hype was real, and they delivered on the game.
Yeah, go listen to last week's episode of Fourth and One podcast to get our thoughts on the video game. Robert, has your opinion changed? Now we are another week in. Obviously, I texted some of my frustrations. Like, I feel like they put a lot of their money into presentation, and I really enjoy that, and the authenticity in terms of like offenses and the way they play and the style. But in terms of like actual gameplay, like offensive linemen actually blocking in the hole, today in 2 instances on my stream, I had the ball snapped and it was gonna be a read option or something for the computer, and the ball literally went right over their hands 30 yards back. Like, all of a sudden the quarterback clapped and then the ball was just at the 20-yard line, like way behind them. So any thoughts on that?
So I think the issue that we're having is literally every person for the past 11 years has played Madden. Like, that's been it. So everyone is used to Madden. Everyone is used to your defensive tackles and your offensive guards, centers, tackles. They're all the same. Regardless of their overall, they're pretty much the same unless you have like Aaron Donald, who was a freak coming off the edge. Where college football, they made that point where they said, if this player is not a good player, if he is a 1-star center going up against a 3, 4, 5-star defensive tackle, he is going to get beat 75% of the time. So it's one of those things where people are just so frustrated because we're actually getting something that's pretty close to how it should be. It's not a cut and paste copy of what Madden was, where actually having good players matters. If you have a good wide receiver going up against a bad corner, he's going to beat him off the ball and he's going to run. Donovan Edwards runs over people left and right because he's a good running back, not because he's like going up against really good players. He going up like when he plays Fresno State, or who's another one that they have?
Arkansas State.
Arkansas State. Like, he manhandles those teams. But when he plays against Ohio State, Penn State, Texas, it's a little more like, yeah, he still wins most of the battles, but it's more infrequent. It's just people just need to get over the fact that it's not Madden. So you're not going to get the gimme stuff all the time. Like, yeah, your line's going to get beat. This is football. Not every offensive line is a stonewall offensive line.
Well, especially not this year after so many talented O-linemen last year went to the NFL.
Right.
Did you guys want to talk about this anymore? Or are we okay to move on?
No, bro. We're okay to move on. You gather your thoughts and all that stuff?
Yeah, no, I'm ready to go.
All right.
I wanted to talk a little bit about, I'm sure you guys took a look at this. I gave you guys a little bit of a heads up today, a whole 4 hours of it. Makai, I know you were off. But still, I'm sure you're doing chores and stuff. The what is this? This is, I don't know who the commissioner of the Jim Phillips, ACC commissioner, said Monday. This is per Andrea Edelson, ESPN. Said Monday the league would fight its lawsuits with Clemson and Florida State for, quote, for as long as it takes, quote, end quote, adding, quote, this conference is bigger than any one school or schools, end quote, as the league prepares to enter football season embroiled in a courtroom with 2 of its premier programs. This article comes on the tail end of both Greg Sankey of the SEC, commissioner of the SEC, and I didn't have that one pulled up. The Big Ten commissioner, you'll have to forgive me, I don't know his name off the top of my head, Tony Petiti, saying that they are both locked in with the number of schools. Greg Sankey going as far as saying he will not recruit any additional schools. I would love to do a video separate from the pod on what money is happening. I know we talked a lot about kids probably making somewhere around $140,000 a year. Well,
in the SEC, right?
that's for the SEC. That's for the SEC, and that's actually, I just realized that's what they'll be paying all the student athletes. So I divided that number incorrectly.
No,
probably...
I thought that the thing that you sent said they are going to 15 million is going to be for football.
That was what Robert sent. Robert,
right?
That was
just football.
Okay,
right.
So yeah, with 105 scholarship athletes,
right? It's 104. You were right. Nothing you said was wrong.
143. Okay,
yeah.
I don't want to give the people. So you might see a video from me in the coming weeks about money in college football and kind of explaining what's going on. Hey, listen, I'm trying to put it out there so it happens. Okay.
What, you're trying to put vibes out into the world?
That would be an interesting video. Because can either of you explain to me what is going on with money in the NCAA right now?
Okay, listen. I'm not saying it wouldn't be an interesting video. I'm saying you're not going to put it out.
All right. What do I get when I do?
Nothing. You get a congratulations.
I'll put a 2-week timeline on it. I will do this it will be released. And of course, my calendar isn't popping up right now because why
you have
would
to do
it
it
when
by
you need
yourself?
to?
Like, are you doing a whole episode?
Yeah. By the 10th, not a whole episode, just a video.
Okay,
like a YouTube
so you're
video.
gonna do this by yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You're gonna get a hearty, hey bud, thanks for finally pulling your weight on content.
Love that. Okay, I'll take it. So, obviously, Texas and Oklahoma, new SEC members. They just got a new media deal 2 years ago, as did the Big Ten, or maybe the Big Ten's was last year. My question here now, obviously, I didn't read all of these articles, but it seems like both Greg Sankey and Tony, I don't know how you pronounce his last name, Petiti, are saying, listen, Tony said specifically, we had to reset. We started the project of incorporating UCLA and USC, and then the Pac-12 blew up, and we had to start the project over again to add Oregon and Washington to the deal. So we're really not looking forward to looking into anything. I'm sure Greg Sankey's going to say roughly the same thing if I continue reading this article, which I will. So I'm getting the head shake. No, what does this mean for Clemson and Florida State? I'm not asking for legal analysis, but I am wondering, like, why keep going?
Why keep going? Because they think that they are carrying the ACC. They are seeing the new Big 10 TV contract and SEC and Big 12 contracts are going to produce for those schools. And then they're looking around to the ACC, and Clemson is saying, well, I basically have all of the playoff berths for this conference. Florida State is saying, well, I have the other national championship, and we probably should have been in the playoff last year, but I was the relevant team last year. I am up and coming. I carried this conference for however long. We should be getting more money, and it's your fault, your as in the official's fault, for negotiating a TV contract that was so large at the time, but didn't take into account growth year after year after year. And it's I'm sure it's very annoying, but I said the exact same thing. I said this when the news originally came out, which was, who wants you? All of the money is gone. The Big Ten chose who they chose, Robert. The SEC chose who they chose. The Big 12 chose who they chose. And they purposely left you out of it because they don't like you.
I personally would have taken either of those teams over UCLA or Washington, personally.
Okay, but Washington and UCLA came with the package deal, right? If you wanted Oregon and USC, you had to take the other two.
I mean, yes and no, because they were already pretty much sold on 2. And then the other 2 were like, well, what about us?
Well, it's kind of like Oklahoma. The SEC didn't actually want Oklahoma, but they were a package deal with Texas.
They almost needed to. Like I think the thing with the SEC was they couldn't just take one because it would have made them an odd number of teams. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Counting on the podcast.
16.
Love it. We're good at it.
16. Oh, counting on the podcast. Yeah. So
get him.
They would have only had 15, and at that time they still had divisions, so they would have had one. Scheduling would have been a nightmare. So they needed to where, like, it's there's just no there's no reason for there's no reason for any more conference realignment. There's absolutely no reason for it.
But there will be.
Yeah, there will be. But right now is this is where it should stay. Clemson missed the boat. Florida State missed the boat. Yeah, they won the championships. They had the playoffs and stuff like that. But guess what? They didn't have it in the past 2 years. That's when the bargaining chips were. Everyone's chips were out on the table. They were like, "Yep, boom, 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 boom. We're all going to go here." You can be as mad at the commissioners as you want for signing whatever deals you want. The ACC is not entertaining.
Yo, you don't think so? I mean, it is a little bit.
Let me tune into Boston College versus Duke.
Okay, but some of the games are entertaining.
You know what? Nothing would make me happier than to sit on a Saturday while all these other teams are playing. Michigan, Ohio State, all these.
So you're not going to watch Florida State, Georgia Tech. You're not going to watch Florida State, Georgia Tech. Yes, you are. Shut up. You are going to watch. Okay. You're going to sit down at 11:55.
I'll sit and watch it. You know why? Because that's the only game that's on. That's the only way they get my attention. I'm not going to sit and watch Virginia Tech, and that's a rivalry game. I'm not going to sit and watch Syracuse embarrass themselves in the Carrier Dome against Wake Forest. That's like watching Northwestern play Iowa. It's just not entertaining.
Right, but that's my point right there. You're not going to watch Northwestern and Illinois. You're not going to watch Eastern Illinois and Illinois. Like when you get far enough down the conference, you're not gonna watch it. No, and no, you're not gonna watch MAC football.
No, all right. I watch MAC football every Thursday because I'm at work.
Yeah,
but
because you have nothing else to do.
No, but 3/4 of the Big Ten's games are good. Okay, yeah, Big Ten has bottom feeder teams, i.e., Northwestern.
Not this year. Dark horse, baby.
You can't say really Iowa because Iowa's record-wise.
You're thinking of Illinois and Indiana and Northwestern and Purdue.
You ain't going to watch Indiana and Charlotte. You ain't going to watch Indiana and Maryland, Northwestern, Nebraska, Washington, Michigan State. Yeah, the only way you're going to watch an Indiana football game is on November 9th when they play Michigan.
Actually, probably not. But
how did we get here, guys?
Joke's on you.
Because it's the Big Ten gets the most money and the SEC gets the most money. You can't conferences like the ACC can't look at and go, oh wow, look at how much money they're making. That's I almost used our own company's name.
Solid work.
Way to filter.
That's like looking at a hospital. And the hospital sits there and goes, I want to make as much money as Apple. I want to make as much money as Google. Well, guess what? Your product is not good. And everyone else's is. Even their bottom dweller stuff it's not great. But it's there. You just can't.
Well, I understand your argument. The point I'm trying to make is when you get far enough down in any conference, you're just not going to pay attention to those games. Unless if a team is shocking and you have, Indiana and all of a sudden they're 6-2 halfway through the season and you're like, all right, well, I will turn on 6-2 Indiana and 5-1 Maryland or whatever it is.
Right.
6-1 Maryland.
Lately, that's 80% of the ACC.
There we go.
That's
Thank you
only-
for bringing us back to the point of the matter.
That's only
Hey, we
25%
got
of the Big Ten.
We got there. Are you going to tell me that you're going to sit down and watch Clemson play the Citadel a week before they play South Carolina?
Hold up, Micaiah. Your points have been great up until this point. Cupcake games don't count. Even you know that.
I know. That's why I'm saying
You're not going to watch. You wouldn't watch Michigan and Western Michigan this year if you weren't a Michigan fan. So don't even
absolutely.
at me.
I might not even watch it, and I am a Michigan fan.
Who's their other cupcake? It's them, Texas, and then who?
Michigan is Fresno State and Arkansas State.
Which Fresno State
State
is not a cupcake. I need people to get that through their heads.
I
Fresno
wasn't
State's an
calling-
actual.
I'm just
sorry.
giving the schedule.
No, and I'm not talking to you two. I'm talking to the audience. Do not count
So,
Fresno State as
one of the
a cupcake.
one of the fun facts here I'm going to give to you is this all started, this whole disruption thing. You can thank the 1984 Supreme Court ruling in NCAA versus the Board of Regents of the University of, I'm going to have you guys guess the university. Bigger name school, main color's red.
well, Nebraska.
Close. I love it because it was 84. Robert.
Do I get to know the conference, or is it just go?
I'm
go
just
for it?
guess.
Oh,
You
okay.
get- you
Alabama.
What was the
Okay,
the
love it.
ruling?
Oklahoma.
Oh,
Each individual school has the right to negotiate its own multimedia rights rather than ceding them to the NCAA. Again, article ESPN, this one by David Hale. Thank you very much, sir. I will be citing you in my video that will be releasing on August 9th.
well,
It's that's what opened this up. That's
right. And what's continuing why this is a legal battle is because something is interesting in this TV contract where Clemson and Florida State legally could buy out of their contract with the ACC and be free agents for any conference. The problem is the ACC owns all home game media rights for all of the ACC schools. And that's different than in most contracts that these teams sign. When Florida State and Clemson, and Robert, you found this, and I'm pointing this way because that's where you are on my screen. You found this. You found that this was a different contract, and Clemson and Florida State are saying that they signed it in haste and they were basically rushed to sign it. But basically,
they've signed it twice, 2013 and 2016. Walk me through that one.
They signed it twice, but like if
How is that in
Clemson
haste?
leaves, ESPN still gets to host all of Clemson's home games, even if they're a part of the SEC. And the ACC could be like, you know what? No, we're not going to stream Clemson.
No, the issue
and
is
Georgia.
the issue is that the ACC would have rights to all the money to that stream, even if Clemson was in another another
conference. Yeah. Okay.
So you could have Clemson, South Carolina being a SEC game. Should have left in the 90s, Clemson. What can I say? And the money would go to the ACC, to that game, because it would be broadcast on ESPN. Welcome
Which
to
is why
contract law.
nobody wants them.
Yeah, welcome to Not only does nobody want them, there's no reason to, right? SMU specifically is going out of their way. They are losing money. They made it all up with oil money and probably drug cartel money.
Nice.
For
Southern Methodist.
For Southern Methodist, right? And gave up their rights to any money so that they could join the ACC.
For better branding purposes, yeah.
For better branding purposes, and hopefully will work out for them.
I mean, it is a smart move for them, though.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't remember my original
any
point
small
to this.
school,
Should have written it down.
any small, I don't remember where that rant was going. Any small school who has, well, small in quotation marks, SMU probably isn't all that small, who can have an alumni base that is that rich, should absolutely do that. Because joining a Power 5, 4, whatever conference will get you more brand exposure than always being in the AAC or the Sun Belt or the MAC or the Mountain West even.
Especially to Robert's point, or the American, as SMU's case may be, that's the bet that they're taking. And to Robert's point, which would something to do with big game. Oh, they're already a mid-tier team because of the likes of Georgia Tech, and now I'm having to remember who's in the ACC. Virginia Tech, like, yeah, that makes sense. Don't stir the pot, and you won't disrupt the players. I don't know where I was going with that. I'm moving on here real quick, guys.
We don't know either.
Just wanted to get your guys' original, and let me make it very clear. It's not going to be, for those of you listening, it's not going to be, eloquent or well put. Ryan Day, Buckeyes embracing hype, need to block noise. This is the headline. Yep, there it is.
Says the man who says that they won the offseason. Ohio State won the offseason because our players worked harder than everyone. Our players won the offseason. That's what he said. He's such a tool.
Anytime you're at Ohio State, we know you're going to have expectations. There's always going to be chatter. There's always going to be noise, Day said. It's our job to block all those things out and just focus on what really matters. Our guys, they know what the expectation is. We're not going to shy away from that. We want to win the big rivalry game. Won't even say the name. Win the Big Ten championship, win the national championship. On a separate article, top 25 teams, I don't know who it was rating all the weak points for all the ranked teams. You know what Ohio State's number one weak point was?
Defensive line?
Coach.
A quarterback. I love both of those answers, though. It was great. So
I hope that
Michigan's was receivers, just in case you were curious.
That's obvious. I hope that Ohio State loses to Michigan or in the first round of the college football playoff in a home game that they're hosting, or even in the quarterfinal, a one and done, or in the Big Ten champion, or some big game that they should win, right? Not because I'm a Michigan fan and Ohio State hater, but because this is just annoying. And Ryan Day needs to go away. He needs to either shut up or go away, right? Like, is this how Ohio State fans felt when Jim Harbaugh was doing all of his theatrics and not winning? Because now I get it.
I just think Ryan Day's dumb.
I don't know. He's gone. What's his record? It's like 20-4.
He has the highest winning percentage of any Ohio State coach of all time.
You know who would love to have a 20-4 coach right now?
Who?
Penn State.
I mean, they do have a 20-4 coach right now.
No, they don't.
Here's my thing.
They have a 16-8 coach.
Okay, Ryan Day is 20-4 or whatever he is.
Right. It's not 20-4, but yeah.
But whatever. He has a very good winning percentage.
Yeah.
But it's just, and pardon my language, but it's all bullshit. Like, they play 2 hard games a year, and it's Penn State and Michigan. That's it. If they lose one of the games, guess what? He has like a 90-some% win percentage. Like, oh, they beat Akron again. Oh, those Zips, man.
Also, how is that the first Big Ten on CBS game officially?
Like, I just, and it's the same thing for every team. Like, at least for like Alabama, Saban, like that schedule sucked every year from beginning to like maybe the last couple weeks, and then they played like the Citadel and somebody else.
Right.
But like the Big Ten's always been that way. Penn State's always only played Ohio State or Michigan. Michigan would play Penn State, Ohio State, and then they would play like Maryland, who would be ranked 25th by the 8th week of the season. But like, that's why it's like when you look at the Big Ten.
Oh,
like,
that's why Chip Kelly went there.
But it's like,
I still can't get over the fact that you asked for forgiveness to use the word bullshit when that is like the most offensive thing I've ever heard you say.
Yeah. However, though, we're on the podcast. And what I say at work is what happens at work. What happens at work stays at work.
I didn't know this. Do you know Ryan Day was the quarterback under Chip Kelly when Chip Kelly was at New Hampshire?
Yes.
Didn't know that. Didn't know he was the offensive coordinator at he was the quarterback coach for the Eagles and 49ers when Chip Kelly was there as well. Did not know that either.
I knew both those things.
These
Robert,
are fun
did you
fact.
know that? You had to know that.
To be honest with you, didn't really care.
Oh, okay. All right. Great. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I agree. Like Ohio State. You know what? I don't want to talk. Send me and pick a new topic. Go.
He's 56-8
I don't
for
care.
those of you who care.
56-8. See, that's pretty good.
He's 2-4. We'll look at James Franklin. All right. Here's the main topic, boys. Makai, how many days are we at until college football?
Tomorrow is 30 days. Tomorrow is 30 days from week 0.
So by the time this releases, it will be 28 days, if I can math correctly.
Sure.
Till college football. So we are basically at 1 month. It is 1 month until college football. We we have fun on the podcast.
We have fun.
We haven't really. We did some fun little analytic stuff. We had some interesting things. Nothing went real viral. So we're going to talk about stuff that probably are going to do the same exact thing again. I wanted to look at the schedule, and I know, Robert, week 7, we get it. You got to pick
for
more
real.
than just every single game in week 7.
Just say weeks. Circle October 12th. Everyone, don't do anything from 12 until about midnight on October 12th.
We'll let you go at 10. No one cares about the West Coast teams.
That's
Sick burn. So we wanted to look at some of the games that mean stuff for certain teams, certain conferences, big games on to keep a tab on this year. You know, write them down on a piece of paper, put them on your fridge, maybe draw a little photo. Who knows? You know, if you're feeling frisky, put a sticky note on the bathroom mirror. Maybe write it so every time it fogs up, and then you can see Ohio State versus Michigan. You know, that sort of thing. So I tasked the boys, the captain and CFB3, to find some games for me because I am lazy and did none of the work. So, boys.
Neither did I.
Oh, love that.
Hey,
Robert, did you
We are raw dogging it, my dude.
So my only question was like, how
Put
did
in
you
a piece of gum.
did you want us just to pick random teams, or did you want us to like I was kind of confused how you wanted it. I really didn't want to text you to figure out what you wanted because
He
I
doesn't
just
know.
wanted to wing it.
Yeah.
No, I
So-
do know. I gave you guys this example 2 weeks ago when I originally wanted to do this idea.
No.
It's
We
a-
get what you want, but like we can't look at all 134 teams in the next 28 minutes.
Did you just want like I don't
Like, did you want Oklahoma, Tennessee, Oklahoma State, Nebraska, Florida, Florida State?
Ole
Ole
like I'm
Miss?
not going to give you what's the biggest game for the Virginia Cavaliers this year is going to be.
But if that
All
was
of them.
interesting, are you guys not creating?
real.
That's very true.
Well, and,
If you-
another funny thing, the answer, all of them could be for every single team because all the games matter.
Wow, that
True.
is
I
the
mean, so-
gayest thing you've ever said.
Why don't we just go conference by
So, like,
conference, pick two
Great
teams?
example.
And
Week 6.
Yeah, that's fine.
Illinois at Penn State.
now we're going by week. Are we going by week or team?
Dude, I don't know. I literally have all of these teams just tabs open, and I was just waiting for him to give me a team, and then I'll just quick look at the schedule and pick.
We're
again.
go. It's both. It's
So-
week
so-
Here's the example that I was looking for,
So-
and it's the example I gave you guys 2 weeks ago. Shut up and listen. Week 7, Illinois at Penn State. We're in Beaver Stadium. In theory, if we go to Penn State's schedule, you would hope that they are 6-0 by now. If they are not, this is the big deal because before Illinois, I guess that's weird. They must have some buys in there. You hope that they are 3-0 by now. It's West Virginia, Bowling Green, Kent State, Illinois. That is week 6. Does that include? Okay, it's really week because they don't have week 0. It's really
Dude,
week.
we're making no progress with what you're
Oh
saying.
my god!
Week
yeah,
5.
we
All right, hold on. Hold the frick on. I will get there.
Penn State's got
promise you.
bye weeks. They don't got bye weeks. There's teams here, teams there. They're playing Illinois at some point.
So they're playing Illinois, and then they have UCLA, USC, Wisconsin, Ohio State. If they lose to Illinois, that is a big game for them. Because James Franklin will be fired at the end of the season no matter what. That's the example that I was looking
Okay, so you want week, I don't know, October 5th for Old Miss goes to South Carolina. That is a big game for them because their following opponents are at LSU, Oklahoma, at Arkansas, Georgia, at Florida, Mississippi State. They have to win at South Carolina in whatever week that is because they should be at that point 5-0. Is that what you want?
Yes, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. Yeah, I mean, the reason doesn't the reason of why it's a big game is up to the person creating the reason why it's a big game.
All right. So like me and Robert thought, we'll just make it up. Robert, make something up.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. So I'm gonna throw this one out there, but it would be week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, week 9.
Okay.
They play at LSU. It's Alabama, by the way.
Okay.
That would be a big game because by that point they might already have one loss to Georgia. So they have to beat LSU at LSU. Presumably it's going to be a night game in order to just stay in the race for the SEC since there's no divisions.
See,
by the way, everyone has 2 bye weeks this year, which I found very interesting.
Which
that's
is annoying.
What's throwing me off. So wait, Penn State's is like early? The week 0 thing is really what throws me off.
It's actually week 11. Okay.
Michigan versus Ohio State, specifically for Ohio State. Since we were just talking about them, I'm interested in your guys' thoughts on this. Ohio State's Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall, Michigan State, Iowa, Oregon, Nebraska, Penn State, Purdue, Northwestern, Indiana, Michigan. So, in theory, they have 2 hard games, maybe 3 if Penn State, which they will, craps the bed. If they go into that game undefeated or with 1 loss and they win that game, is it a big game for them? Like, I know it's always a big game for them, but like, have we lost the luster on Ohio State because of Oregon and Washington and UCLA and USC joining the Big Ten? Like, do we even care about these people anymore? Because I'm biased, but I don't feel like if Michigan loses, they're not going to fire Ryan Day. If Michigan wins, they're not going to fire Ryan Day.
I don't understand the question.
There was a lot of information there. I'm going to go ahead and say it is a big game, but I think the main reason behind it being a big game is because the Big Ten gets that automatic bid into the college football playoff as like a 1, 2, 3, or 4. So if they lose, not only, I mean, they're not going to fire Ryan Day if Michigan beats them again. But
they might.
I mean, his seat will get hotter. But I don't think they'll actually go get rid of him.
I think that he'll go to the NFL, right? Mutually exclusive.
It could be that, depending on what his contract, how his buyout
mutually
works, or
agreed
whatever.
upon.
Yeah,
is the word you're looking for. Listen, you try to produce a podcast with 32 subscribers.
Yep.
You give them ideas and you give them a heads up 3 times on what we're doing, and nobody decides to ask questions. If you didn't like it, suggest something else.
You asked me 2 weeks ago, Robert, what are your big games? And I was
exactly.
like, I rattled off games for you.
Now
this time you're like, Robert, what are big games? I'm not going to tell you where to look for them, but give me some big games, and they can't be week 7.
Yeah.
And now I'm here trying to tell you what's happening, and you're like, you know what, Robert? If you just would have paid attention to my text message that I would have sent you.
I was mostly just pointing that towards my brother.
And by the way, everyone has 2 bye weeks because there are 5 weeks in August and 5 weeks in November. And college football has to start on Labor Day weekend, and the last weekend has to be after Thanksgiving. So, Oklahoma State, big game, is for them Utah. Home versus Utah on the 21st. That is week 4. It is actually week 4 for them. They also host Arkansas week 2, but let's be honest, Arkansas That should be all right. But Utah, that is a big game because that could be a Big 12 championship preview between these two teams based on who they have returning. Also, it starts a 3-week stretch for Oklahoma State where they host Utah, go to Kansas State, and then host West Virginia. And all three of those teams are considered
You're really
the
high on West Virginia
preseason.
again, aren't you? This year,
they finished 9-4 last year.
It's a big
so
game.
what?
It's a big game.
And they added what? 4? It is a big game, but they added 4 people to the conference.
You know what? I'm just not gonna have Pat McAfee just come after me for hating on West Virginia. But
Hey,
West
maybe
Virginia
we'll get us
will be
more
good.
views. So yeah, Pat McAfee, stop wearing wife beaters. They're dumb. We get it. Your shoulders are big. Okay.
If the AI clips that, I'm keeping it.
We get it. You like to do shoulder presses. Everybody likes to do shoulder
He can barely
presses.
walk. He tore his hip flexor off the
Oh,
bone.
that sucks. Playing soccer again?
Yeah, he did playing on his soccer team thing.
Nice. All right, Robert, let's talk about week 7 since apparently you guys aren't having fun with this idea.
We never
You
said
know,
we're not
again.
having fun.
Hey, I'm having a blast. Okay,
Yeah.
don't you tell me that I'm not having a good time. I'm having a blast over here.
All right. He put his
Bucko.
back. Hey, listen. Florida Atlantic at Liberty Tuesday night, October 8th. It's not a big game for either of them. I just found that very interesting that it's on a Tuesday night and Liberty's playing Florida. Sorry, International, not Atlantic.
College football games will be played on every single day of the week this year.
Well, there's a fun fact
Thank
for
you.
you. Good job, Micaiah.
Yep.
How many? Only one game will be on Sunday, though.
Yeah, I mean, only one. Monday has the opening weekend Monday and Sunday, and then there are games Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, kind of the rest of the time.
Do you guys have any other games you want to talk about that you feel like are a big deal for college football?
I want to look up what's going on the third Saturday in October, and that is the week after the week that Robert wants. And third Saturday in October does
Isn't
not
that a rivalry game for
disappoint.
somebody? Isn't that one of the names of the rivalry
Yeah,
game?
that's Alabama and Tennessee, and it's at Tennessee this year.
Rocky
Georgia
Top.
also plays Texas.
Oh, we already got a line on that. Alabama's favored by 2.5.
Georgia's at Texas. Auburn's at Missouri.
Georgia's favored at 1.5. Line, the over/under's 55.5.
USC comes all the way to Maryland, so that's interesting just based on the geographics. A game that Robert will definitely be watching is Wisconsin at the 2,500-seat stadium that is Northwestern. Miami and Louisville. Listen, Louisville
much are
in the
those
conference
tickets going
championship
for?
game last year, and Miami is, catching the hype train yet again, albeit against Robert's wishes. And that's going on the third Saturday in October. Colorado visits Arizona. Houston visits Kansas.
Hey, the latest game is 8 p.m.
No, as
So-
of now. Look at all these TBD games. Yeah, go ahead.
So-
Robert.
Oh, yeah. But
Here-
none of them are... Oh, there's West
Just talk over him,
Wyoming,
Robert.
San Jose.
Okay.
Yeah, just talk over him.
So, tell me how you guys would schedule this TV wise. Okay.
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 So,
Ooh, I love
great
this
question.
game. Love this
So-
game.
Great question. Let's go.
Georgia and Texas. Now, they are a flex game.
Hold on, you just farted behind
That
me.
was the motorcycle from hell that just drove by my house. So Georgia Texas is a flex game that can be played at 3:30 or 4:30
Fuck you are.
or 6 or 8.
How did you
Okay,
find
sorry,
that?
I wasn't paying
How did
attention
you find
to that
that?
at all.
First of all, how did you
Don't
find
wor-
that
don't-
information?
Don't you worry about it.
Okay, don't I worry about it. So
Can you
Georgia,
give me to that again, please?
Okay. So Georgia Texas can be played at 3:30 or 4:30
Okay.
or 6 or 8.
or 6 or 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 4 time slots.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
6 or 8.
Tennis-
Okay.
Tennessee, Alabama, same scenario.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Texas A&M, Mississippi State, same scenario.
Okay.
Kentucky, Florida, same scenario. LSU Arkansas can only be played at 6 or 8. This is on ESPN, by the way.
What I don't understand is where's your noon time slot? Because I
So
I would take Texas A&M and
Auburn, Missouri is and
Well-
South Carolina, Oklahoma. South Carolina, Oklahoma can either be noon or 1, and Auburn, Missouri could be noon or 1.
Assuming with what we know about it, it's you start with Oklahoma.
well, the last 3 times
South Carolina.
LSU Arkansas has played, it has come down to the final seconds. The last 3 times. So I am going to bet on that, but I'm going to put LSU Arkansas in that weird 6 p.m. time slot.
Hold on. Is this across ESPNs? So are we picking the ABC game as well on this?
Yeah, probably.
Probably, yeah.
Okay,
'Cause,
because you
it's
said
on
6
ESPN.
or 8, and neither
Yeah.
of those with the 7:30 time slot.
Yeah, so
because ESPN specifically has a 6 and an 8 o'clock time slot.
Right.
ABC has the 7:30.
Right.
So I would assume this is not the ABC.
It's actually
No,
college-
it's all 6. It's all 3:30, 4:30, 6, or 8.
well Saturday Night Football, if it's like an SEC game, might get moved to 8. Like they used to do that when the Big 10 moved all of their night games. Ooh, sorry about that, everybody. Moved all their night games to 7:30. Sometimes the game Saturday Night Football would be on at 8, and then if they were doing a Big 10 game, it would be on at 7:30. So it's not unusual. Okay, here's what Simeon, while you think of that, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put LSU Arkansas on at 6. Okay, that just I don't know why. I'm just going to do that. I'm going to put Texas, Georgia on at 8. Make that your nightcap. I'm going to put Tennessee, Alabama on at 3:30. And then I'm going to put A&M, Mississippi State. I'm going to hide that right behind Alabama, Tennessee on at 4 or 4:30, whatever that time slot was. That
What about
works?
Kentucky, Florida.
Oh, well, also put that on at 6 to hide that in the same time slot as LSU, Arkansas. Because it's 5 matchups, 4 time slots. Like it's never going to work. Someone's going to have to double up.
Yeah, you have to double up somewhere. I
think Florida and Kentucky has always been a better game. However, because LSU is already at -9.5 favorites for that Arkansas LSU game. The Florida game, but I don't know if Billy drops teams by then. Makai, your point again. Big.
This is a fun
You're
game.
right.
I'm going to get it.
You dump. I'm going to say you dump. I think Florida's going to crap the bed. I'm big on Billy Napier, but let's dump the Kentucky, Florida. I agree. LSU, Arkansas, beginning time slot. South Carolina, Oklahoma. South Carolina, Oklahoma, the 3:30, and I have a 4 time slot, a 3:30 and a 4.
You already messed up the
4:30.
I already messed up the
No,
what?
just continue.
Yeah. So you dump the LSU Arkansas as the early game. Yeah, Alabama, Tennessee's the 6 o'clock game, and Georgia Texas is the late game. Yeah, I think the only thing I disagree with you is the Oklahoma South Carolina game, Makai,
Okay.
which I have as the afternoon game.
Well, I didn't talk about Oklahoma or South Carolina, but that's fine.
Oh, so that's the game you dumped.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you were dumped for that then.
So
All right.
the only thing that I'm trying to because I would always want the bigger games at night is so Texas is what, an hour behind us?
Right.
Yeah.
That's a 7
Okay.
p.m. kick.
Would you? So if they do that, would
Texas
you then
is
want,
2 hours behind.
2
I'm
hours?
sorry. 2 hours behind.
So then
I'm trying to figure out what big noon kickoff would be.
8 here, 6 there, 6 there, 4
Oh,
there.
USC, Maryland,
What do you
probably.
almost rather do? Because it's at Texas. You do that because that would technically be their 3:30 game if you play it at 6 for us. So that would be their 3:30 game to take us into the Alabama Tennessee, which would be more our night 8 o'clock game. But again, it would all just depend on
It would be their 4:30 game, but yeah.
who's ranking wise, and you know what I mean.
You could do-
obviously, if Georgia Texas is the better ranked game, that'll probably be the nightcap.
Right. Which is
Right.
why I said that, because here's one for you, and this has to do Big Ten. This is week 6, right? So this is October 5th, week 6. How are you playing these games in the Big Ten, or like
That's
where?
Week 7 is October.
Ready?
10th.
Here we go. We got Iowa at Ohio State, Michigan at Washington, USC at Minnesota, UCLA at Penn State.
Well,
Wait, what week is this?
This is week 6,
6.
October what day?
5th.
Ah, okay. I was looking at
So-
October. I thought you said 10th.
USC Minnesota is going to be a midday game. UCLA Penn State's probably going to be a midday game as well. Iowa, Ohio State.
Oof.
Is that your big noon game?
It might be either that or
Ohio
either
State's
that
already
or-
favored by -23.
Yeah, then that would probably be a big noon game, and then Michigan and Washington would be
You're wrong.
because they'll blow that Michigan Washington and be like, it's a rematch of the national
Yeah,
championship.
national
That's why it's going to be
championship,
the
right.
big noon. That's why it's going to be the big noon kickoff.
No,
Remember,
but that's a
'cause we can't have
9
nice
a.m.
things.
local kick.
for
That's a-
them.
Oh, at Washington.
Yeah.
That's hard.
That's why if it's, I mean, it's hard either way. They would almost because if they're an 8 o'clock start,
Does Fox do late games
No.
on Saturdays?
No.
That's NBC now. NBC gets the late.
NBC gets the late game. Oh,
Gets the
well, if
late
that's
game
case,
for the
then
Big Ten.
Yeah, that's going to be the late game for
Yeah.
sure.
because
What-
that's like a 5 o'clock kick, 5-4 kick for them, 8 o'clock kick. for
Or
us.
you could put it on at 3:30 on CBS, and then that's a noon local kick.
Oh, I forgot CBS also. Does CBS still have a little bit of the SEC, or is it all ESPN?
No, it's all ESPN.
Yeah, you could do that.
ESPN. Well, that
You could
3:30
do-
time slot has been the CBS's time slot for like going on a decade.
Well, then
That's
who's our
been
night game?
all their big
Is it
games.
UCLA Penn State.
UCLA and Penn State. You make UCLA
Who's home?
Penn State. Right?
That's
Wait,
and don't UCLA
no.
might Penn State might use that game as their
It's
whiteout game.
No, they already announced it is.
Okay,
Oh.
so then we already know.
Yeah.
So that's the NBC game,
Now that I remember.
which means that the Michigan Washington game is your 4 o'clock or 3:30 CBS game, which means that Northwestern and Indiana is your big noon kickoff.
All right, well, no, Iowa and Ohio. Are you good?
Makai, it was a joke.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
Well, Indiana Northwestern will probably also be big noon kickoff, but on the Big Ten network. They're going to hide that game on the Big Ten.
You'll be lucky if that's not on the big Peacock. That game's going to be on Peacock.
Oh, I forgot about Peacock and the
Yeah,
streaming
remember we got
service.
streamings.
Yeah.
We got Paramount. We're gonna be on Paramount and Peacock, baby. I would love to know.
We're going to be on that cock.
Gonna be on. So that's gonna be like $120 some dollars.
No, I lied.
Oh, boy. What'd you lie about?
So UCLA is going to be a stripe out. Washington is their whiteout. That's November 9th.
Penn State. Can you be
Okay, but
any
either way,
lamer?
probably at nighttime, right? Stripe
What
out
does it say?
nighttime?
It's
I mean, I guess it
No,
really doesn't
stripe
matter.
out. Stripe
I
out.
don't
They
know.
like
The stripe out, I think, is a 3:30 game for them.
Yeah, the stripe outs. They're 3:30 crap.
Okay, well, you guys have to pick.
You doing a bump again or what?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
dude.
It was my
Love
Twice I
that.
fingers.
caught you.
Loves that nose candy.
And by nose candy, I mean, what are pixie sticks? Samantha, do you remember when
Yeah.
you snorted a pixie stick?
Yeah, I got a nasty sugar high off.
Yeah,
of that.
I bet
That
you
was
did.
pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. Think about going downstairs and doing one after that. After this, let's go, boys.
You know who my night game's going to be?
Who?
Michigan, Northwest, Washington.
USC, Minnesota.
Okay. All right. There you go.
Oh,
There you go. Like,
dude.
it's kind of in the middle, so it's like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
It's
For no
early in
reason.
October, which is still. What angers me is that USC doesn't leave the state of California in the month of November. They should make them come all the way to Rutgers for a noon kick in like the third week of November, because that
Dude,
would be
sick.
excellent.
Yeah, but Rutgers doesn't even want to do that.
Rutgers doesn't even want a noon kick
it's
on the
like-
third week. Rutgers did make the national championship game in the third year of my Bowling Green dynasty. So,
Wait,
Rutgers
you're
is
already on year 3 of a dynasty in
Yeah.
a week and a half?
yeah.
Dude, are you okay?
I'm great, man.
This dude's
Robert,
playing video.
what year are you on?
I'm still in the first year.
Yeah, what the flip?
Mackay's
You
out here
basically
playing
come
the
home,
game like
pet
he's
the
part of
dog,
the
say hi to
unemployment
your
line.
wife, and just turn on the Xbox and play it for 4 or 5 hours?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no wonder why you're doing bumps. Holy crap.
That's exactly what I've been doing.
He's having a good time, ladies and gentlemen. And we've had a good time. And if I was better with my transitions, I would have realized that we were ending like now. We'll see you guys next week. Guys, 30 days, 1 month till college football. Let's go, baby.
Wash your hands, you filthy animals. See you later.